There are moments in your life that give you great insight to the questions you're called to answer. That moment for me happened about 8 years ago. There I was sitting on a shaggy carpet, crying my eyes out, with a credit card bill in one hand and a student loan bill in the other. And I was feeling crushed under the weight of $100,000 worth of debt. And I just kept asking myself, how did I get here? They told me to get an education, check. They told me to stay out of trouble, double check. Yet here I was, a UCLA graduate, being very creative in my profession, yet still feeling that I missed a critical turn. Now, I'm a teacher. On Mondays, you'll see me teaching 4-year-olds to clap on the beat. Okay, you're gonna get it, which is harder than you think. On Wednesdays, I'm reviewing personal statements for college applications. And on Thursdays, I'm looking at the pictures of my TEDxCSUN students' grandbabies. In a given week, my youngest student is 4, my oldest student is 54. And while reflecting on that carpet and now having an interesting, unique perspective of the educational pipeline, it's causing me to ask the question, are we really giving our students the tools they need to be successful in this ever-changing world? That's the question I'm looking to answer today. So yes, I teach music to kids during the day. I teach here at TEDxCSUN the arts integration class while running a mentorship program for teens. But recently, I've also had this growing love affair with entrepreneurship. And it's this striking combination that's revealed to me 2 interesting concepts: boring entrepreneurs and broke artists. Now, let me explain. Okay, so TEDxCSUN has this amazing event called the Bull Ring. And it's kind of like TV's Shark Tank, but since we're the Matadors, we hold it in a bull ring. And last year, it's the final competition. 5 teams are up. $25,000 are at stake. I bring my mentorship students with me, and Catherine, a 9th grader, she leans over and says, wow, their ideas are really good, but I didn't know how important storytelling was and stage presence. It's like I couldn't connect with them just because of that. Catherine saw firsthand how not being able to effectively communicate your ideas, no matter how wonderful they are, can result in missed opportunities. Like the proposal not getting picked up, or the pitch not getting funded, or in this case, a $25,000 prize that slips through your fingers. Their ideas were good, their content was well developed, but once it came to that final execution, they fell flat. But her comments made me wonder if they had more experience in theatrical arts or presentation or speaking skills, would they have been better able to connect with their audience as well as the judges? Boring entrepreneurs. Now, on the other hand, I live in Los Angeles, and I am surrounded by creative artists, like my friend Sarah. She knows how to connect with her audiences. She creates and innovates like it's second nature. But guess what? Sarah is broke. She's not dirt poor, but she's pretty dusty. And even though she was financially struggling and feeling the same way that I felt on that carpet, she's very talented in her arts, basically, but she's not able to build her craft, economically speaking. Broke artists. But that was my aha moment. Could it be the intersection between these 2 literacies, the creative literacies and the financial literacies that's missing in our K-12 educational system? Could these be the tools that our kids need to thrive in their unknown future? Could this be the sweet spot? Now, when I say creative literacy, I'm going beyond the 4 arts, music, dance, theater, and visual arts, but into innovation and imagination and being able to produce creative ideas. And when I'm talking about financial literacy, I'm going beyond the basic finances and into entrepreneurship as well. But let's start with creative literacy and why I believe it's so important for our kids and for you as well. My 3rd graders are reading Charlotte's Web, And I just don't have them read the book. I challenge them to choreograph the relationship between Wilbur and Charlotte, the main characters, through dance. Through the use of levels and of energy and collaboration. In fact, these are my third graders. Okay, this is the part where Wilbur's really sad, so I need you to show me sadness. And their bodies are kind of like wilting over here. Nope, you need to get down. Show me more sadness. Move your shoulder that way, your leg. Okay, that's Wilbur's sadness. And so I'm watching them render through physical form their understanding of that character's position. Now, I tell them, show me that same relationship on a canvas. Visually express to me your understanding of the story using the power of colors, of positioning, and of visual metaphors. There's your critical thinking. There's your problem solving. There is your creative literacy. The arts allow us to look at things from multiple perspectives, to be able to connect the unconnected and to create what is not yet there. That will be an essential skill for our students in their future. And as with Sad Wilbur, the arts also increases your capacity for empathy. This allows my students to place themselves in the position of others. What are they feeling? What are their values? What is their perspective on life? My students are bringing this book to life like those entrepreneurs needed to bring their business plans to life. And not just bring them to life, but to be able to communicate them with confidence. Margaret Thatcher knew this. In 1980s Parliament, she was a woman in a man's world, and sometimes her ideas weren't received so enthusiastically. So when she decided to run for prime minister, what did she do? She hired a theater coach who worked with her on her vocal tonality and her stage presence, and to make sure her ideas were well received. When we give our kids the creative arts, we're inviting them to create and to innovate on the blank canvas that is their life, and to be able to share their creations confidently with the world. Now, on the other side, you have broke artists. And being financially unstable, trust me on this one, because I know personally, being financially unstable, it's very taxing on your cognitive resources. It siphons out energy from your creative capacities and from your relationships, and can even affect your overall levels of happiness. That's where financial literacy comes in. And it's more than just basic finances, which includes cash flow, budgets, investments, and how interest can work for you or against you, surprise, surprise. But it also includes entrepreneurship. Can you produce an idea that solves a problem? Can you engage in effective networking and teamwork and branding and produce a product or a service and bring it to market? Both of these areas, basic finances and entrepreneurship, are going to be critical skills for our kids to have, even if they don't go into entrepreneurship. But sadly, our schools, most of our schools, aren't teaching either one. So that's why I started Alumni 360, which is a nonprofit mentorship group for middle and high school students from lower income areas. And we work directly on the intersection of these two literacies. In fact, we just launched our entrepreneurship arts camp, and I had one girl who saw that her mom was working really hard. She had 4 kids, and she didn't have time to clean their tiny apartment. So her and her group created the contraption of bringing together a broom and a mop, and they called it a brop. And I laugh every time I say that, a brop. Not only will it help you get your cleaning done faster, but it also takes up less storage space as well. And they did their business plan, shot a commercial for it with a jingle and everything. But the key was, it was a solution that they created for a problem in their world. And then another group led by Jennifer, they created a heated ice cream scooper for the elderly with weak hands. And they pitched it to the class and did a great job. But at the end of the camp, Jennifer walks up to me and she says, "Ms. Letford, I think I learned more things this week that will help my actual life than I did in school all last year." And at first, I was excited because, yeah, the camp was a success for her. That's great. But then my heart sank because she feels that school is not preparing her for actual life. Upon hearing that statement, I shot out a few informal surveys to kids around the area at multiple schools and found out that Jennifer's not alone. There's so many kids who feel that school is not preparing them for adult life, just preparing them for tests. Our kids want mentorship. Our kids want creative and business skills. Our kids want to have access to the tools that will help them build and create a better future for themselves and their future families, not just rattle off antiquated facts. And more than just the data shows me this. This intersection has actually been shown to work. Case in point, the Rolling Stones. Now, their career has spanned decades. People from multiple generations know who they are. Who knows who the Rolling Stones are, right? Multiple generations. How have they been so successful for so long while other bands that started at the same time they have dropped off? Mick Jagger, that's how. Not only is he a skilled musician, and the band is brilliant in their own right, Mick Jagger also went to the London School of Economics. He knew business. He knew the numbers. He knew the model they needed to create sustained success in both areas, creatively and economically. In Adam Grant's riveting book, it's an amazing book called Originals: How Nonconformists Move the World, he talks about how entrepreneurs, very successful entrepreneurs and inventors, are more likely to have a background that includes the arts. He says that people who are open to new ways of looking at business and science also tend to be fascinated with the expression of ideas and emotions through images, sounds, and words. They see the arts as a powerful source of insight, and it's this insight that we owe to our kids, both creatively and economically. And the sooner we start, the better. Why? Because insight can shape identity. Monica's story best illustrates this. She came to me as a third grader, and that's when I taught her all the academic literacies: reading, writing, math, science. But when I put that little recorder in her little hands, and she was playing the notes all wrong for a while, and I just saw her blossom. And then later on that year, I saw her walk out onto the edge of that stage and sing, "Tomorrow, tomorrow, I'll love you tomorrow." When she got the lead in her first play as Annie, I knew that she was not only getting a strong academic foundation, but she was getting her creative skills, and she was learning how to present herself with confidence. She continued in the arts and came back to me as an Alumni 360 member. And in fact, and then she got her financial literacy, and then she got her entrepreneurship. In fact, last week she just did her senior interview. She's a 12th grade grader now. And she looks at me and says, "You know what main thing Alumni 360 has taught me? How to take initiative." That's now a part of her belief system. I am a creator. I am an initiator. That's not only powerful, that's empowering. So when I sat down to make my final debt payment last year, we were completely debt-free. Thank you. It was a feat. That's a whole TED Talk within itself. When I made my final debt payment, that question I've been called to answer with my life came rushing back to me with a vengeance. Are we really giving our students the tools they need to be successful in their life? If we keep defunding the creative arts and not even offering any type of financial or entrepreneurship skills, then the answer is no. And to me, this is a form of injustice. We can't keep shuffling our students through a system that is giving them the answer to a question the world is no longer asking. And this time, the answers aren't even in the back of the book. They're in us, and they're in our kids. And it's our job as educators, mentors, and community members to prepare our students, whether they're 4, 14, or 24, with these necessary skills. And you can help too. If you have children in your life, make sure they're fluent in these creative, financial, and academic literacies. And you can also help teachers like myself bring these skills into the classroom. By visiting donorschoose.org, you can find a teacher who's passionate about the arts, or passionate about finance, or passionate about both, like me. I can't be the only one out there. And you can connect with that teacher and help them bring resources straight into their classroom and directly to their students. Let's make sure none of our students end up on that shaggy carpet, crying their eyes out, brilliant yet broke, wondering where they missed a critical turn. Not on my watch, and hopefully not on yours. Let's give our kids a fighting chance to make the most of their human potential. Thank you.